NFL Rebuild Rankings. Which teams are in best shape for extended future? With the NFL season over, every team can consider itself a contender again, for now. The Philadelphia Eagles' successful run to Super Bowl LII after consecutive losing seasons should serve as inspiration to organizations that found themselves home this January. Some have the ingredients to make a similar surge next season, while certain playoff teams could be in for a fall. Here's our look at all 32 teams, ranked from best to worst on their outlook for the extended future. 1. Eagles. The underdog act is over. With a 25-year-old, MVP-caliber quarterback and Carson Wentz on the mend, Philadelphia has a robust core trying to build off the franchise's first Super Bowl title. The Eagles have a tight salary cap outlook in 2018 but face minimal losses from a group with few weaknesses. 2. Vikings. Yes, Minnesota has a Mall of America-sized hole at quarterback with Case Keenum, Teddy Bridgewater and Sam Bradford set to hit free agency. But with plenty of spending room and an enviable roster, the Vikings should be able to find a satisfying resolution. Perhaps no other team is as good at developing homegrown stars, as there's outstanding talent at the skill positions and throughout the NFL's top-ranked defense. 3. Patriots. Tom versus time is a battle the NFL's latest MVP intends on winning, even if his opponent is undefeated. As long as Brady shows no signs of slowing, and coach Bill Belichick remains at the helm, New England shouldn't slip far. Rob Gronkowski's non-committal remarks about his future will keep many on edge until he reveals his plans, and the defense also needs to be addressed after being repeatedly sliced in the Super Bowl. 4. Falcons. They might be poised to pull off what Minnesota fell short of by becoming the first team to play in the Super Bowl as a host. Steve Sarkisian still must prove he can capitalize on his array of weapons, but the pieces are all there. Don't overlook breakout star Pounds Deion Jones and what might be the NFL's next great defense. 5. Jaguars. Is this the good place for Jacksonville? A defense loaded at every level and top-ranked run game led by Leonard Fournette indicates the Jags are here to stay. But keeping Blake Bortles under center, which the team appears content to do for another year, seems like a substantial imitation. 6. Rams. There's no better young troika than Coach of the Year Sean McVay, 32, Offensive Player of the Year Todd Gurley, 23, and Defensive Player of the Year Aaron Donald, 26. Taking the next step, however, depends on the continued development of QB Jared Goff. Potential salary cap sacrifices and losses in free agency could send the defense in the wrong direction. More, 2018 NFL Mock Draft 2.0, First Round Outlook after season. More, 10 biggest questions for the 2018 NFL offseason. More, NFL free agency could feature plenty of quarterbacks on the move. 7. Saints. Once a veteran-dependent group, New Orleans has given itself a rush of vitality with a sterling rookie class led by RB Alvin Kamara and CB Marshawn Lattimore. Yet this is still Drew Brees' show, and the quarterback's expected return should give New Orleans all the confidence it needs to make another serious push. 8. Steelers. Despite boasting a league-best 8 Pro Bowlers, Pittsburgh hasn't done enough to close the gap on New England. The often deadly offense can still run cold at times, while Pounds Ryan Shazier's injury revealed defensive shortcomings. Keeping Le'Veon Bell is essential, though striking an agreement might not be easy, or cheap. 9. Packers. After grumbling about the loss of his quarterback's coach, Aaron Rodgers returned to a more upbeat tone by noting his last comeback from a broken collarbone resulted in an MVP campaign. So long as the franchise centerpiece stays healthy, the Pack should be able to run with the elite despite deficiencies elsewhere. Joe Philbin could help Rodgers and the offense get back to top form in his second stint in Green Bay, but Mike Pettine could be the real boon in the staff shakeup for a perennially uninspiring defense. 10. Cowboys. Is Dallas done with drama for a while after the Ezekiel Elliott suspension saga? Even if Dez Bryant's looming contract ordeal is ironed out, it's clear that Dak Prescott needs more help from his receiving core. DeMarcus Lawrence is a promising piece who deserves a hefty contract in free agency, but the defense is still disproportionately reliant on Pound Sean Lee. 11. Chargers. They proved they won't settle for second banana in Los Angeles. Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram constitute the NFL's best young pass-rushing duo, while the fourth-ranked offense remains in good hands with Philip Rivers and Melvin Gordon. But it's past time to fix the farcical kicking woes and porous run defense. 12. Texans. The top of the roster is Sterling, as Deshaun Watson and J.J. Watt provide tantalizing possibilities as they mend from injuries, while Jadeveon Clowney and W.R. DeAndre Hopkins also stand among the best at their respective positions. Yet the offensive line gave up 54 sacks, and the secondary was burned for 30 touchdowns. Without a pick in the first 2 rounds, Houston might have to wait for remedies. 13. Seahawks, ticking ever closer to a reset. Still, it's unclear exactly what form that might take. With CB Richard Sherman rehabbing a torn Achilles and Pete Carroll casting doubt on the futures of Cam Chancellor and Cliff Avril, theories of DeMichael Bennett's departure have also been floated. The vaunted defense looks like it could be in for a major shift. Russell Wilson's output, he had a hand in all but one of Seattle's offensive touchdowns, was nothing short of heroic, but that formula ultimately proved untenable. 14. Chiefs, let her rip, Pat Mahomes. After Kansas City sent Alex Smith to Washington following a career year, last year's big-armed first-rounder should have free rein of an explosive offense. His first season as a starter might be a facsimile of his Texas Tech days, as the defense is still in bad shape, though the return of Eric Berry and acquisition of Kendall Fuller will boost the secondary. 15. 49ers. San Francisco has an impressive setup after closing the year on an NFL best 5-game win streak under Jimmy Garoppolo. The full breakout might be a year off, however, as Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch continue to rebuild the roster. Expected to have more salary cap space, $113 million, than any other team, the Niners could choose to make a big splash in free agency. 16. Titans. Tennessee was the only playoff team to make a coaching change. Whether the Titans picked the right replacement in Mike Vrabel, who had just 1 year of coordinator experience in Houston, remains unclear. Marcus Mariota regressed in 2017 but could also use a more creative playbook and assistance from his supporting cast after he threw 13 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. 17. Panthers. Between the expected sale of the franchise by Jerry Richardson and interim GM Marty Hurney being put on paid leave amid allegations from his ex-wife, few clubs face more uncertainty. And that's to say nothing of the changes made on Ron Rivera's staff, which will have 2 new coordinators, including Norv Turner taking over the offense. 18. Broncos. John Elway is in the batter's box, waiting to take his big swing for a quarterback. Whatever move he makes might not be a cure-all for a group that underwent an 8-game losing streak last season. But Von Miller and the rest of the defense help position Denver to make a big leap if a competent passer is obtained. 19. Raiders. The silver and black aren't waiting for their Vegas move to put on a show. John Gruden's return raises both the team's profile and expectations. Though many will focus on how he handles Derek Carr after last year's struggles, the defense also needs to become more than the Khalil Mack solo act. 20. Redskins. Even after landing Alex Smith, Washington still doesn't know how to find a graceful end to the Kirk Cousins saga. Smith should settle in nicely with Coach Jay Gruden's offense, though might undergo the same struggles Cousins did in developing a rapport with Josh Doctson and the rest of the receiving corps. Better luck on the injury front could provide a spark in 2018. But more consistency is needed. 21. Ravens. After spending most of the last 5 years in a post-Super Bowl stasis, Baltimore is headed for major changes. GM Ozzie Newsome is entering his last season, and John Harbaugh has been given a playoff mandate. For now, the story remains the same, as if